All right, so now we're ready to begin cutting the mesh. So I'm going to begin by opening the mesh and putting it on my mesh roller. My mesh roller is not fancy. My mesh roller literally is a Dollar Tree basket with a piece of hanger, a plastic hanger that I broke off to use as the rod. So what I do is this basket fits my mesh, my single roll 10 and a half inch mesh perfectly. So what I do is I feed the rod through the roll, and then I'm ready to now begin cutting my mesh. I've put it over here on a little table. If you don't have a roller, they're not necessary. You could buy some off of Etsy. Some people put just a small table next to their workspace, and others just keep the mesh right next to them and keep pulling it out. So what I like to do is I like to use something to hold my mesh down, and usually I will use some sort of tool that I have, and this is here I'm going to use my one of my ribbon cutters to hold the mesh down. And we are going to start by doing 25-inch cuts, and we're going to do what's called a woodland ruffle or a cruffle. So the first thing I need to do is cut 25. .25" times 12, excuse me. What I do is I pull it out to 30, and then I cut at the 5-inch mark on my mat. This style is going to make for a nice full wreath. And then once we add all of our ribbon to it, and our bows and our sign, we'll have a gorgeous patriotic wreath made with one roll of mesh. So that's 4. Five. 6. See if I can do it without the weight. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. All right, so this did leave me with a little bit of mesh left. I'm always nervous when I'm creating a wreath, especially when I only have one roll of mesh, as to whether or not I'm going to have enough, because sometimes you don't get a full 10 yards, so, or 360 inches. So I cut it a little bit short. If you wanted to, you could cut 30-inch ruffles, and that would be fine. I just wanted to make sure that in the presentation that I'm showing you that we had enough mesh. Okay, so now that I've got the mesh cut, I'm ready to begin adding it to my base. So I'm pulling my base over, and in this method it doesn't matter if you start on the inside brackets or the outside brackets. You can start on whichever one you want. Again, the great thing about crafting is there really are no rules. You do it how you want to do it. But this method that I'm going to show you is called the woodland ruffle. Some people call it a cruffle. But basically what you're doing is you're taking your mesh and you're going to roll it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then take like a chip clip or some sort of other clip that you might have. I happen to have a sewing clip here. And then you flip it and you do 1, 2, 3 again. And then you ruffle it or scrunch it up the middle until you bring both pieces together. And you'll see that what that's done is that's made a ruffle with some curls on it. And you get to decide now whether you'd like your curls to be up or you'd like your curls to be down. I'm going to set mine with my curls up. And I'm just sticking it in this pipe cleaner and pushing it down as far to the base as I can and giving it a couple twists. Again, this is 1, 2, 3 clip, 1, 2, 3 ruffle or scrunch, and I'm just going to place this one right next to the first one. And trying to push this as close to the base as I can. And giving it a couple twists. If you don't have a chip clip, the other way that you could do this is the way that I most commonly do it. And it's just to do 3 and then hold it with my hand and then do 3 and then bring them together with both hands, and you'll see that I get the same effect. So again, I'm just working along the outside, pushing as close to the base as I can, pulling as tightly as I can, and giving it a few twists. Right, there are also people that I know that will hold it up against their body, and you can't see that in the video, but they'll roll it up against their body 3 times on each side, and then what they'll do is they'll do like I did in the last roll and scrunch them up and pull them together. When I do that, I don't get very good circles, so I prefer not to do it that way. I get better curls when I do it this way or using the clip. Scrunch it together and throw it in my next chenille stem. Pull it tight, twist, twist. Okay, I've got, looks like 2 more on the bottom, and then I'll be moving on to the top. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and then just mesh it together however works best for you. Pulling tightly, twist, twist. And this will be the last one on the bottom row. Going to do the exact same method on the top. On the top, I'm going to turn my curls upside down though. This is just a preference for me. I like the way that it's going to look once I get the ribbons on. When you're making your wreath, if you'd like to, and you'd like to have your curls up, you're more than welcome to do that. Oops. Forgot I was doing curls down. Turn that over. And just like on the bottom, I twist it as tight as I can up next to the frame. And then I twist, twist. So 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3, and then just walk them together. All right, we've got 2 left. When I'm putting these in, I am trying to make sure that they butt up against each other rather than allowing them to lay on top of each other. That helps make the base full. Twist, twist. The other nice thing about this type of fold on the mesh is that it takes the cut ends and it hides it on the inside. So if there were to be any fraying of the mesh, you would not see that because we've curled it inside. So we don't have any exposed edges on our wreath. All right, and this is the last one. Just trying to move my pipe cleaners out of the way so I can find this open one. So pull tight, twist, twist. And I'm going to bring all these up. And so far, this is our base. Now you may see that there are some areas that look like they're open. Let's see, there's one right here. Don't worry about those. We're going to cover all of that up with our ribbons in the next step of this tutorial.